Namandap, snamandap, 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 snam. Nam.
Good morning, and my name is Kiyomi Okazaki. I will be your chairperson for today's Dharma service. Oh, and he's my daddy. Please join me in Gasho for today's opening meditation. From Everyday Suchness by Sensei Kiyome Kubose, when we do something, it should not be in a haphazard way. We have to put our whole life into it. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Nam.
Please stand if you are able for our opening gatha when we see the golden sun found on page 183 of the service book and also shown on the monitors.
When we see the golden sun shining from above, we are mindful of the Buddha's love. O'er a soul his pure compassion sheds its steadfast glow. By his doctrine, wisdom's way to show. When we see the silver moon gleaming in the night, we remember of Amida's light. With a Nembutsu to guide us as we live our lives, out of sorrow into joy and light.
Please remain standing for the three treasures on page 3, led by Reverend Matt.
Fortunate is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Rare is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken within us our highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the Dharma and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in a life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriad of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. 南無阿弥陀仏。
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 南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。
Please join us in the chanting of Juni Rai, found on page 25 in the service book and also shown on the monitors.
修天人職業阿弥陀千両族尊在非未明安楽国無量無心主意念金色信用行船のシャマタ行行造物行目上逆小蓮月古賀将来弥陀尊面前炎上行漫画以降遊行千日が商業天空しら古賀将来弥陀尊観音頂戴観中寺修十名双方将軍能伏下道負け馬古賀将来弥陀尊無微無垢交渉上修徳経結行国小差利悪徳自在古賀将来弥陀尊実法明門菩薩衆無量小魔女三男一生修上願力実古賀将来弥陀尊根体保険地所決全症状名大座おひざ上行船の古賀将来弥陀尊実法将来勝負し権限人無し安楽戦後尊厳上空行古賀将来弥陀尊 悪行水月年養老一種説法無明寺大賀将来弥陀尊依存無説無悪名薬無行人悪道夫主任死信教非尊高賀将来弥陀尊依存無量法勉強無少種悪知識往生不退死菩提大賀将来弥陀尊羅刹非尊功徳寺修善無変如海水小逆前言少女者衛生種上小非公ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブ願にしく毒平等聖祭道本菩提心往生安楽ナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマンダーブツナマン。
Please rise if you are able for the reading of Deep Mind displayed on the monitors, led by Reverend Yuki, followed by his Dharma talk.
Two aspects of deep mind. Deep mind means deeply and trusting. It has two important parts. Deep awareness of the self. We believe deeply and clearly that we are ordinary beings who make mistakes and are caught in the endless cycle of birth and death. We have been wandering for countless ages with no way to free ourselves. Deep trust in the Dharma. We believe deeply and clearly that Amida Buddha made 48 great vows to help everyone by entrusting ourselves, letting go of doubts, and relying on the Buddha's power. We can be born in the Pure Land. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam. Please be seated. And can I have my slide up on the screen? Thank you. And at first, I would like to share the words of Shinran Shonin, our founder, from his master work, Kyogyo Shinshyo. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. The word here in the passage from the Raja Sutra means the sentient beings, having heard how the Buddha's vow arose, its origin and fulfillment are altogether free of doubt. This is to hear. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's service. And thank you, everyone, for coming out yesterday to help set up the tent and a lantern. I will promise that I will help taking down. But it's gonna be up for about close to 2 months. And it's nice to see all the tents and lantern. That makes me feel like, oh, Obon is really close and Bazaar is coming up. So I'm so happy and excited to see that. So the other day, I was at Joro Shinshu Center in Berkeley. Have you ever been to Joro Shinshu Center? A few people. Yeah, I was thinking about planning a bus trip to Joro Shinshu Center or something. There we have Bishop Marvin Harada, there. So I can ask him to give Dharma message and give us a tour. And maybe on the way, some people want to go stop by at the casino somewhere. And, that kind of a trip probably will be interesting. But anyway, so I was there for BCA, Buddhist Churches of America's national board meeting, which happens twice a year, June and December. And June, now it's in person, so I had to go to Berkeley. December, it's gonna be virtual, so I can stay home and drink coffee and watch the meeting. But there, I saw Reverend Rai from New York for the first time in a really long time. When Reverend Rai was in Fresno, I was a guest minister for the Junior YBA conference. And I'm sure I have shared this story before, but Fresno Betsim used to locate in a different place. And now they have beautiful buildings and beautiful temple. However, when I was invited, was in transition from the old Betsim to the new Dharma Center. And the conference was at the Dharma Center, not the old Betsim. Then I thought if I use GPS, I could get to the Dharma Center easily, right? But where GPS took me was old Fresno Betsim. Nobody there. So long story short, I didn't know what to do because if I type in Dharma Center, it didn't show up on GPS. So I was calling the chairperson of the YBA conference, trying to get the direction. Then I saw Reverend Rai coming in to the old Betsim. He should be there at the Dharma Center too, right? But he said he needed to pick up some altar flower. So I guess somebody forgot to bring the altar flower to the Dharma Center. So luckily he came to old Betsim, and I asked him, oh, how can I get to the Dharma Center? And then he said, just follow me. So I followed him and safely arrived to the Dharma Center. And then after this, I thought, oh, today's experience is just like Jodo Shinshu teaching. Amida Buddha calls us in Namo Amida Butsu. Just entrust yourself to my working and you'll be fine. So just as Reverend Rice said, follow me. And I followed him without doubting him saying, follow me. I just accept the calling, voiceless calling of Amida Buddha in Namo Amida Butsu, saying, follow me. Then I'll be fine. Because as Reverend Ryan knew how to get to the Dharma Center, and Amida Buddha knows how to guide ordinary beings like me to attain enlightenment. And the life of Nembutsu is to live making the voiceless calling of Amida Buddha as a guide and adjust our way of living little by little, little by little. So the teacher I respect, he passed away about 10 years ago. Reverend Jitsen Kakehashi used cooking as an example. When we want to cook something, we go to grocery shopping, right? Then, after the grocery shopping, we cook at home. Well, maybe at the temple, I don't know, but we cook. So if we want to cook perhaps ramen or something, we cannot just look at the ingredients we purchased from the grocery store and it doesn't become ramen by just looking at it, right? So we need to cook the ingredients into ramen. So this is what we need to do in our daily life. We listen to the teaching, but who cook the ingredients or who apply the teaching in the daily life is each of us. So as we cannot cook something unless we go to grocery shopping, we cannot make the teaching as living teaching unless we listen to the teaching. So let me share what Kakehashi Sensei said, and it is a bit long, but he said, and can I have the slide back on the screen? Then, if you cannot read it, you can just go online and, look YouTube, and you can, probably zoom in and, read it. But people speak of the teaching of Nembutsu, but the phrase Namo Amida Butsu carries profound meaning. There is a significance to Namo, and there is a significance to Amida Butsu. We must reflect deeply in our daily lives on who Amida Buddha truly is, and what kind of life embodies Amida's way. When we come to realize, so this is what it means to live a true life. This is what it means to see things truly. And my own way of thinking has been completely twisted in the opposite direction. That is what it means to have truly heard the teaching. Those who have thus heard the teaching gradually become aware of the distortions within themselves through that very teaching. This awareness does not bring about sudden and complete transformation, but little by little, one begins to apply the brakes to one's mind, and slowly one begins to correct course. This is how the Nembutsu nurtures and shapes us. The teaching that nurtures such a self, sustaining us as the very nourishment of life, can be expressed in a single phrase, Namo Amida Butsu. So I thought this Kakehashi Sensei's word expressed Jodo Shinshu teaching really well. But we often hear that Jodo Shinshu is a teaching of come as you are. Then some people might think that we don't need to change who we are, including the afflictions we possess. That is part of us. This might sound reasonable, but when we think about it, perhaps GPS as an example again, GPS shows the direction to the destination. When we make wrong turns, it shows that we made wrong turn and gives us alternate path to the direction or destination. But if we keep making wrong turns, then we will never get to the destination. If it is when we realize that we made wrong turns, then we adjust the direction and head to the destination. So the life of Nembutsu is guided by the voiceless calling of Amida Buddha in Namo Amida Butsu. Amida Buddha established the vows to guide beings like me, who is burdened by the afflictions, to the attainment of enlightenment. And it is true that my nature of possessing the afflictions will never change. However, we slowly and gradually recognize the mistake as mistake and self-reflect our way of living. So Kakehashi Sensei continued. When we say Namo Amida Butsu, the teaching we have heard up to now suddenly come back to life in our minds. We find ourselves thinking, this is how I should have approached this situation. Well, when something like this happens, instead of taking it in a negative way, the Buddha is teaching me to receive it in a more positive light. This very process of being brought to such awareness is how the Nembutsu continues to nurture us. It is the unfolding of teaching becoming truly part of who we are. So, as I mentioned earlier, the change do not occur suddenly. If somebody's personality completely changed right after this Dharma talk, I will be surprised. But change happens gradually, and it is okay if we do not get it, get the teaching just by listening to one time. There is a famous or popular Japanese ramen, since I talked about ramen, there is a popular Japanese ramen restaurant in Japan called Kamukura. This is a Kamukura's ramen. It originates in Osaka. And then because one of the friends recommended to go to Kamukura, he said, you should try Kamukura. I went to Kamukura. I was living in Kyoto, actually Osaka at that time. Then, went to Kamukura. I was, really expecting the tasty, amazing ramen because he said, it's really good. But I didn't like it. I thought there are another better ramen restaurant, and I could not tell why Kamukura is so popular. But after, my band, I was in the rock band, right? So after we decided to move to Tokyo, we often practiced at Ikebukuro area. And then Kamukura happened to open the restaurant in Ikebukuro. So I was living in Osaka and, seeing Kamukura in Tokyo, I felt like, I feel like I came back to Osaka. So even though I didn't like it at first, I went to Kamukura again. Then, second time, very good. It was really tasty, and I felt like, why I didn't like it for the first time? But, then I became the regular. So when we had the band practice in Ikebukuro, then I had to go Kamukura every time I go to Ikebukuro. So what I want to say from this episode of ramen restaurant Kamukura is that the teaching of Nembutsu might be the same thing. It may take time for us to soak in the teaching and make it living teaching in our daily life. So don't give up if you come just one time and feel like, it doesn't sound good. Then don't give up. Come as many times as you can, and then you probably start to feel that, this is what the Nembutsu teaching is like, and probably start to appreciate the teaching more. So this teaching eventually and gradually adjust our way of life. And in order to do that, we need to listen to the teaching and think about the teaching in our daily life. Just like we need to cook the ingredients, we need to, apply it in our daily life. So I know you made time and efforts to come to the church today, so I'm not worried about you coming back, but please continue to listen to the teaching and apply it in your daily life. And please don't despair if the teaching will not change yourself right away, but please remember that the teaching gradually changes our daily conducts and way of thinking. So I would like to conclude my talk with Gassho and Nembutsu. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam.
Thank you, Sensei, for your insightful and inspiring message. Our closing gata will be Ondoku Sansu on page 153 in the service book. Please rise if you are able and remain standing for closing meditation.
Please join me in Gassho. From Dharma is Everywhere, reflections shared at the California State Assembly by Reverends Bob and Patty Oshita, whom some of you may know. It's not the things we own or possess that give meaning to our lives. It will always be the people we love that give meaning and purpose to each day. So during the summer break ahead, let's all try to create completely unscheduled moments to be with family and dear friends. Such unscheduled time will help us to remember again what is really of value in living each day. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam.
Please be seated.
If there are any guests in the audience who are new to this temple, we thank you for joining us this morning and hope we will see you here again.
Thank you to Reverend Yuki for leading today's service. Thank you also to our minister's assistants, Matt Hamasaki, Sensei Grace Tano, and Sensei Calvin Mack. And thank you to our AV Tech specialist for today's service, who's Ms. Sandra Kataoka Fong.
Are there any announcements?
I have one. Thank you, Kiyomi and Aaron, for leading today's service. They did a wonderful job, so thank you very much. Today is fourth Sunday, so we will have Dharma exchange, and thank you for all who participated in Dharma exchange last time. But after asking everybody the question, Joro Shinshu in daily life, I started to think that, maybe I should talk about what is Joro Shinshu, first. So today's topic is, what is Joro Shinshu anyway? So that is the topic for today's, Dharma exchange, okay? So I hope you can join me in classroom 2 after the service, maybe somewhere around 10:20 or so, okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon. Don't you think we have a new newscaster in the making? I wanted to invite you once again to the event at the State Capitol. It's called Sunday's Best. It's a peace walk. Sunday's Best means show up wearing whatever you want, like the blue jeans I have on today. Just come comfortably. This was an event it's being put on by a friend and colleague of mine, Martin Ross. He's been planning it for several months and envisions it as an interfaith, multicultural, and nonpartisan peace walk. It starts at 3 o'clock with a community choir that will be singing. And then opening the event, the opening speakers will be Reverend Bob and Reverend Patty. They will be there as the chaplains for the assembly, but also representing the Sacramento Betsuin, as they were here as head ministers for some 34 years. So 3 o'clock at the west steps of the Capitol, and when Martin says peace walk, what he envisions is groups of maybe 8 to 10 locking arms, and there's a path on the western side of the state capitol and walking around and bringing the community together. So hope to see you there, 3 o'clock. Thanks.
Good morning again, everybody. Again, my name is Kiyomi's daddy. So I do have a few announcements. We have for the Buddhist, we expect hundreds of Sangha members and people from the community to participate in our annual Obon dance on Saturday, July 12th. Dance practice will take place on July 1st, July 2nd, July 8th, July 9th, and July 10th, starting at 7 p.m. Our scouting organizations will sell food at each Obon practice from 6 p.m. Our Obon Hatsubon service is on Sunday, July 13th. Our guest speaker will be Reverend Dean Koyama from Palo Alto Buddhist Temple. Reverend Koyama was born and raised in Sacramento. Our 15th annual Betsuin Golf Tournament will take place on Wednesday, July 16th at Teal Bend Golf Course. And refreshments this morning in the courtyard are provided by the Buddhist Women's Association, or BWA. Also, Sakura Gakuen is offering a Japanese for Travelers Learn Easy Travel Conversation and Travel Tips. There are only 4 spots left for the July 7th event. The program runs for 4 consecutive evenings from July 7th to July 10th. Class starts at 7 p.m. for 90 minutes via Zoom. Please contact Thomas at sakuragakuen.org to enroll. The cost is $70.
Thank you for attending. This will conclude this morning's service. You are all invited to offer incense.
One correction before you start offering incense, Obon service, Reverend Dean Koyama was supposed to come, but he had knee surgery and he cannot drive still, so he's, backing, how do I say, back up, or back, how do I say, he cannot make it, sorry, you have to listen to me one more week, but I hope you are able to join us for the Obon and Hatsubon service on July 13th.